If they would have really looked at the tribal people as they were, we would be in a lot better situation than we are right now. Because the salmon only lives one life. We're reciprocal people, that the land and the water are just as important for them to return. That made us stewards. My name's Buck Jones. I'm an enrolled Cayuse tribal member, one of the bands of the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation, which is in northeastern Oregon. For the past 21 years, I've been employed with Columbia River Intertribal Fish Commission. I wasn't raised on the main stem of the Columbia. I wasn't a salmon fisherman. I did a lot of stream fishing and trout fishing and stuff like that. Before my career, for many years, I was a well-known tribal basketball player that went throughout Indian country and played a lot of tribal basketball in a lot of different reservations. And kind of like a tribal member from a long time ago, I was kind of nomadic. I went from season to season, but my seasons were sports. Really, to get me in my career, I actually went down on the Columbia River with a family that had been fishing for many years along the Columbia River, and I just went in as like exercise for my basketball, getting ready for basketball. I didn't know what I was doing, like, give me the lead lines and I'll pull the lead lines. And then, when you're young, you think you know everything. And so like, I was like, oh, I know how to, give me that knife. I know how to clean and stuff like that. And like, she was standing there and she's the elder. She's no longer with us. And she's like, what are you doing? And it's like, you move me out of the way. And then she had a knife that had a blade about this long. And she just like, so I just learned at that point, like, I'm gonna get these totes of fish or whatever, and I'm just gonna put them on there. So she's just easy move, and then just go. After everything was done, we did all the fish and stuff. Then her daughter and her would grab the hose, and they would take the time to clean the facility. So that was really like my education into salmon and processing, and it was my sanitation plans that I didn't know I was building. And after a while, she's seen that I had a good eye for fish, so I started grading fish. And like when someone would come in and buy fish, and I'd have to be like, we can't really take this fish. And so she trusted me in that. There was a loft up above the shop where we did the processing. And her former husband was still involved with the family, still in the fishing, was a Yakima Nation tribal judge. So they like these laundry baskets that they have on wheels that you see here in the hotel or whatever. And there was these big things of books, like notebooks or whatever, tribal court cases against fishing and U.S. Supreme Court decisions that upheld our treaty rights. So I learned policy in a kind of a crude way or whatever by reading those things. Back when newspapers there, I like reading newspapers, so I just liked reading that stuff. And without those teachings or those experiences, I would never be where I'm at now. So I can never forget that. And then I started going to school at Scottsdale Community College and took a Native American policy class that was like it just kind of clicked in. It wasn't what it was like, and then we had to do a theme or whatever, and I looked on the CRITFC website and kind of like, had to do a paper or whatever. And then that Native American professor told everybody in that room, and he goes, anybody in this room could be a lawyer. Once he found out how I kind of did that paper and how it upheld our treaty rights and that stuff, he says, like, this is really kind of like a shining example of what we mean about how tribes and sovereignty are there. So that was kind of like my foray into policy. I'm really fortunate to be at a lot of tables. My job's allowed me to be like in Gulf Shores, Alabama, but to be in Savannah, Georgia for the Atlas, and being partners with other tribal technical advisory groups like the Intertribal Agricultural, the Indigenous Food and Agricultural Initiative. And something that I really have a real big passion for is that advocating for seafood to be included in USDA programming. Make sure that it's said every time, like, seafood is agriculture. And so really getting that in there. And I think it's It's been beneficial. There's still work to do. And many years ago, before the dams of the Columbia River, it was a free-flowing river. There was a big trading commerce area called Salilo Falls. It was a huge trading and a religious ceremony for our tribe. The chiefs at that Salilo Falls would say, like, well, there's fish returning or whatever, but we're not fishing them, because they was thinking of sustainability. They had to go back to their homelands, to the waters and stuff like that. We went through pandemics. We went through taking our culture away, taking our people away. As much as the dominant society wanted to kind of eliminate us, we're still here. We've always been sustainable.